All right, so here we are for the races. Okay, so now we just go through the business of highlighting where we are in relationship to regular trading hours. So there's that really, really nice big premium. And it's going to take time for me to blow this up. All right, now go back to regular trading hours, or electronic trading hours, excuse me. So we have left this high, and we didn't get near it there. Okay, so it's still early in the game. No fair value gap is formed yet. So we have buy side up here, other relative equal highs. Good time to see if it wants to get animated and run above that. And here you go. So new day opening gap at August 27th. If it wants to really run itself out above here, it'd be reasonable to see it reach up into that. Wouldn't be out of the question. No fair value gap yet. No first presentation. Now this candle, if it doesn't go much further where it's happened is now, I'd like to see it settle down a little bit. I think this would be your first fair value gap, and that forms on the 931 candle. I'm also illustrating today that most of what you hear when I'm animated and all, custom at the ceiling, that's me, like I said, being my character online. To prove it, you're going to hear me talk today with no issue reaching for those types of words. So we reach to the new day opening gap high, and through it now a small end of here, it's there. And if you remember yesterday, I was referring to Antonio Trade's live stream, and my private mentorship students know this also. There's a huge pool of liquidity up here, above that 694.75, is it? What is it? Let's get the original anchor point for it. It's over here, right there. Okay, so it's that. So it's a huge buy side up there, 694.25. I'm not making a hard case that it's going to go there, but you know, it's certainly trying to give the impression that it could do that. All right, so here's our first fair value gap. She is, I'll have to drop today. Now, you might look at this and say, well, why don't you use this here? You can, but if I'm teaching principles, we want to try to use them as I'm teaching them. Like I was given an example for how to get back into a trade if you stopped out, but not with a loss. You have a winning trade, you had partials, you trail the stop loss and get you stopped out, but you're not taking a loss on that. But then the trade's still viable. Well, I executed on it, and I'm giving you lecture notes today about how to do that. All right, so we're seeing potentially the first down close candle in this initial run here. But yes, you could take something like that. But I have a plethora of individuals saying, yeah, that's all impressive, but that's not the model. You don't even know what the model is, so stop trying to correct me. You don't know what you're talking about yet. I have to give you smaller lessons that build on the complete model, and that's how I'm teaching my son. So we still didn't get a down close yet. So it's been just a straight run up right from Jump Street. So August 18th, new week, opening gap. Trades are here. So since we've stretched out this far, I honestly would not be willing to see it come all the way back down here just to get to that if it's going to go up here. In this case, I'd like to see it just keep doing what it's doing here. Keep driving through and then get into this liquidity and then see if it can hold those levels. And if it can't, then this could be a draw on liquidity for the later portion of the AM session or going into the afternoon. That's how I'd use this information. I wouldn't be interested in trying to chase it because it's too far drawn out. And if you go back, I think 2 weeks ago, on Tuesday, I was mentioning how sometimes when the prices take off like this, it's okay. Just let it run. It'll come back to you for a low risk entry. Don't try to chase it. The first natural impulse is where you think, well, I got to get on board. No, you don't. I mean, mass transit is a wonderful form of transportation for folks that don't have their own cars. Just because they're there, and just because they're driving on the road doesn't mean you got to get out of your car to jump on that bus and take a ride. It doesn't make any sense. Just relax. And if you need a bus ride, and you miss the bus at the stop, just wait 20 minutes. There'll be another one. Isn't that funny how it works out? Sounds like a macro. Oh, ICT. By the way, Daniel, thank you so much for the Yeti. It came in the mail yesterday. Please don't send me gifts, by the way. I'm not asking for it. So here's our first drop in here. Small little retracement of this inefficiency. I wouldn't touch it yet. Just want to sit still and relax. It would have far much more fun if I could have seen on this candle or the very next candle drop down into that gap or anything close to that proximity, because that would have been a wonderful setup for seeing things like a run well to these levels here, and maybe even get, if you can find the momentum that carries up into it, really come all the way back up there and unset those individuals that have had their stops in those relative high stream yesterday. And when they had the fun of riding down post NVIDIA earnings, and then now here they're elevating again. Look at the bodies right there on the low, that new opening gap low, and touching this old new opening gap high on August 27th. So if it's going to run higher, I'd like to see it try to form some kind of run off of this. Any more retracement makes it likely that we'll get down into this first presentation. And we'll have to see what we do should we get to that level. So this is a really nice opening range gap. Halfway is down here.
Order submitted.
I'm just going to change the color just to make sure I don't get lost in
Order submitted.
yesterday, you eagle-eyed students of mine noticed that when I was drawing out the
Order
presentation for
submitted.
it had a volume imbalance in it. And if you have watched my live streams, where I usually edit that stuff out when I'm recording commentary or execution mode, the magnet setting I have when I'm moving things
Order
around
submitted.
is locked to strong, but not strongest. So that way when I'm moving things around on the chart, it'll automatically snap to the open, high, low, or close of the candlestick. See what this did? This jumped. So because
Order
my prescription on my glasses, I'm
submitted.
not updated yet, I gotta pick them up tomorrow morning. Finally, the Ray-Ban frames, they'll be there tomorrow, but all the glasses are there, so I just want to come off. Because my eyes are aging, and I'm doing this live when I'm doing it, I'm trying to talk about it, but you're smart enough to know that if you're going to highlight that entire range. I don't draw this stuff on the chart when I'm actually trading myself. It's for me to teach it to you. But if it's below price and you're going up to that old premium rate, you're going to use the lowest low of it anyway. You want the lower half. So it really wasn't going to change anything as it was described to you yesterday. All right, so first presentation, fair value gap. Watch that in here. Watch the wick. I like to see it go up and just try to go into the lower half of that, but not get past the midpoint of that and then dig into that first presented fair value gap. So it's this level to that low. Let's see it just jump up there, keep that upper half of that wick open, and then trade.
Order filled.
Just get heavy strap on.
Order submitted.
Folks have been taking my videos in this mentorship and uploading them on the channel. I'm not trying to run them without ads. As soon as you do that, I get notified from other people. They'll tell me they're there, or the copyright thing in YouTube.
Order submitted.
My video. So I end up taking your videos now. You don't get permission to do that for me, so just don't do it, please. It's easy for me to just click a button and it's done. I'm not spending a whole lot of time doing it. Takes more time
Order filled.
and have me taking them. It's funny how these old levels keep providing support, turning points. It gives you like a framework to judge. Okay, it's about below that wick. Okay, I'm just going to use this new day opening gap low. It's kind of close to what would be the half of that wick. So what I'm saying is I want to see if it can dig up into that, which essentially is already done here. To hit that, and then up to this point here, that would be the range at which I want to see. Is there any sensitivity to send price low? The initial run right off the open was just a straight shot higher, hitting the layered, I told you it'd be like a big black hole for price action. When these formed here on the 23rd of August, I mentioned that this is such a huge magnet on price. You'll see it used many times. And here it is again. It drew right up into it today, right off the opening. The cool guys are here. The girls are barking on that side. You're crazy down. Barking down here. All right, so we've got a little bit deeper into that discount area, the wick on this candlestick here. Okay, so that would negate anything dropping down into a 15-second chart. That was on frame. If we were to start to sell off, working that lower half there, then we can drop into a 15-second chart and use a fair value gap to drop into this first presented fair value gap. That's what I was looking into. It still could do it. I would prefer it stay in that lower half. Remember, we're really, really elevated from the opening range gap low. So where we settled yesterday afternoon, we're really, really expensive. So it's important not to get so excited about, oh, I gotta catch this run. I've hurt myself so many times in my earlier part of my career, just chasing it, thinking, okay, it's gonna run. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it just takes off and that's it. You don't get a chance to see much of a retracement or a drop. And it leaves the opening range gap open for the day. Never even trace back to it, but eventually goes straight back to it. And it's more likely that that will have, a better discount into the marketplace. And certainly, before I ever wanted to run, I would want to do that. Can I put you on mute just for a second? Tell my wife to try to keep these dogs quiet. Lots of layered in here, and if you just drive through that aggressively, like if it's one or two candles that gets through that, that's really likely that they're trying to get up to here. And it'll be really interesting to see how much of a drop off it causes once it gets into that liquidity level there. Should do it. I'm not saying that for making the hard sell that it's going to go there, but if it can slice through all these new day opening gaps and new day opening gap, and it does it in stunning, easy fashion, that means they're just really going to drive it up to here. And after having such a large gap opening, no retracement into the gap, just a steady run, getting up to this liquidity here, that'd be like puking it out, and then send it down into here, and then digging into the opening range gap. So this is far in advance, even with the natural normal latency. Should it trade up there? You have heard me say it before. You're getting it live and comparing with your live price action. Then there's a little bit of a delay, but it's okay. It's not going to be earth-shattering. see if we can pick up some accumulation here around the new week opening gap low into the buy side, down sell side efficiency. Isn't it crazy that one stock, just one, and that's enough to make every other company bend the knee? Like every other stock has to suffer or finds new love in it because of one stock, NVIDIA. Come on now. You think it's not rigged? It's ridiculous. With Procter & Gamble and Caterpillar. It has to do with NVIDIA. Nothing. But they'll all be moved around. No other stock out there will be moved around. Like a paper company. What's a paper company going to have to do with NVIDIA? It's a chip company, right? So if that is the case, and NVIDIA is going to have that much influence, it just makes it easy for them to manipulate everybody with just the sentiment around one issue. You see how everything has been changed to this, that. In the old days, before electronic trading, it took real significant things for the market to maneuver and move around. And all the stocks would not move mark to market. It'd be a lag. It'd be like, oh, well, now we're going to start to roll over and go in sympathy. Now, because of electronic trading, it's easy for them to manipulate and control everything and everyone and inspire or disrupt market sentiment. And all you have to do is use one or two stocks to do it. But there's no market makers. See that? No bad words. So let's take a quick look at ES in comparison. S&P. Failure to make a higher high in ES, where we had that same comparable high at 936 to 949. 936, 949, higher high on NASDAQ. Not seen in ES, so that is an indication.
Order
It doesn't mean it's
submitted.
top. It doesn't mean it's time to see it reverse. It just means that we're waning in the
Order
likelihood
submitted.
of continuation. If you then start seeing things technically break down, then you have the best of the best. So you're not just, S&T is a smart money technique or smart money tool. I never really settled on what the T was going to stand for, so I always interchangeably use it as such. So same element here. See that wick? So I have that wick right there. I'm watching that. Right there. Yesterday I noticed that there was that package on the front of the door. And I said, my wife said, did you order something? Amazon got a package out there. She goes, no. I said, what's the package out there? She goes, what did you order? I said, I didn't order anything. And she looked at me like, really? Because I usually order a lot of stuff. And she walks out and she grabs it, picks it up. And she goes, oh, did you get me a Stanley cup? I'm like, what? Did you get me a Stanley cup? You got me a Stanley cup. Smiling like it's your birthday. This woman has like 18 different, whatever color Stanley cups are out, she has it. And she has the little bling things that go on the straw. She has like these little boot things they call it, and these bows. Like, you thought she was dressing porcelain dolls like a little girl. She's got so many of these stupid things. And she says, I'm going to sell them. People like them. Well, you need the money for it. And she ain't sold them. They're still sitting there waiting to be used in the order she ordered them. But when she opened it up, she saw it was a Yeti. She looked at me, he's like, I can't believe you didn't buy me another Stanley cup. I can't believe you think you need another one. What do you think this is, cologne? Only I can be obsessive about cologne. Everything else is silly. You can't have more than one thing. That's not natural. All right, so we did not get a run into the half of that wick and start to roll over, and it would have afforded us an opportunity to go into the 15-second chart and capture any order flow that would send us into first presented. Here I got down here. So we're just sitting here and relaxing. We're not trying to predict anything. We're waiting for the market to actually indicate that it wants to move in a direction that's trustworthy. Here, it's too expensive. Anytime it's like this, I will elect to look for shorts over chasing it going long because it's given every indication so far. I'm run it. See how fast he just ran out of there? Watch up here. Well, two candles went right through all those new week levels and new day levels. 1, 2. So that opens the stage for our run up into here because there's a lot of people up here that have their stops. Not your friends on social media, but there's a lot of people with deeper pockets than you and I. And their positions are holding larger volume. As I was saying, in these conditions, like I mentioned I think it was two Tuesdays ago, where it just starts to take off running if I'm not already positioned beforehand and holding on to something from pre-session, I'll just sit my hands and relax. I don't feel any kind of nervousness. I don't feel any kind of embarrassment, a necessity for me to have to prove something. I'm teaching you what I actually do. Is I demand price come to me, and it has to behave a certain way for me to engage it. And when you know what you're looking for, you don't get all caught up in fear of missing out. And that's how you conquer fundamentals. You have to know what you're doing, and be allowing the market, give it flexibility to do things without you. You give yourself permission not to trade every single fluctuation, and you also give the market permission to go and be a child, go run and play. I don't have to hold your hand every minute. That's actually a good analogy. Just write that down. We have to use that again for a future video. All right, let's see if we can spin our wheels here and run up in there and take that buy side out. I had a fellow say very politely,
Order filled.
I have a lot of respect for you and what you do, but I don't understand the way you act. You don't say what's going to happen beforehand in the live streams, but then when it does certain things, you'll say, see, you did that. And I don't know what you're watching, but the things that we're looking for, the more pertinent things, I'm calling
Order
that out.
submitted.
I'm also talking about what I don't want to see and what would be impediments to me actually engaging, what I want to see and what I'm not comfortable with at the time when it's presenting itself in the chart. And right on the heels of that comment, another person was like, can you just give me a short video of everything that you would say and do it in less than 30 minutes? How are you going to learn how to trade? I mean, if you're going to trade, if you're going to trade, not just learn how to do something or watch something, because I'm convinced that these individuals just want to take the information and make courses with it or write books on Amazon. They want the cliff notes. And I'm teaching my son Caleb how to actually do it. So that means it's going to require proper understanding. So here's a return back into new opening got high. And now in this candle over the next, I would really want to see some kind of indication that's going to drive towards that 694 level. If you can reach up there, I would expect a really nice opportunity to sell off. But if you're learning how to trade, what is it you're thinking that's going to happen when you start trading? It's going to work in 30-minute intervals and that's it. And you got to be able to look at the entirety of the day. I'm only with you for a portion of the day, not even the full day. So you have to understand what you're doing, what you're looking for. Otherwise, you're gambling, right? Or you're not really looking at it with the full perspective, which is, in my opinion, what I'm trying to share. More appropriate way
Order
of deciphering what
filled.
the price is going to do. And you have a full, comprehensive understanding. Okay, it should, if it's good, it should start finding traction here and run up there and bang that 694. Really, really expensive here today, right off the opening. Yeah, it never gets tiresome.
Order
Seeing,
submitted.
how the game of knocking the people out that have like the best positions that's been running, if they can go deep against them, like we're seeing here today, like that's it's always fascinating to me to see how far and willing they'll go to take that from them. And to read people say there's nobody out there trying to get your stops. Well, they're not trying to get your stops. They're going where the obvious largest pool of liquidity is going to be, and it's going to be people have deeper pockets in your mind. All right, back down into newly opening gap high. Would you feel safe with your stop at 19,694? Even with that drop like that, would you feel safe with that? Could you sleep at night if that was the last thing you saw before you turned your charts off with your stop loss up there? Would you be able to sleep with it? Lots of volatility here this morning. I'm using just the laptop, but I am peeking at the 15-second chart on myself. That's why I'm quiet and looking at it thinking, okay, so where's it at? There's a small little inefficiency towards the newly opening gap low still. They could come back into a little bit more on. The question I have, if it's going to come that far up, right there, why would it leave a quadruple top at 694 when it knows there is a ton of orders resting above that? They're only a day old. They would have been carried from higher prices prior to yesterday, trailed down, and if they weren't, they were trailed down after we saw the drop down yesterday, overnight. So there's a huge pool of liquidity up there. Okay, newly opening gap low on 18th. Still nothing for me to do. Completely complacent. Not wanting to do nothing right here. How do you sit still and not worry about missing a move? Because I know I have lots of moves I can capture. I could disregard the entirety of the morning session and come back in the afternoon and do fine. At 2 o'clock, to 3 o'clock, there's going to be a silver bullet. From 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, there's going to be a silver bullet. There's 4 macros in the last hour I can participate in. So it's the comfort of knowing where the opportunities present themselves. But if something comes out the gate like this and just starts roaring, it's too rich, too expensive for me to want to buy it. Even though the last 2 days I've mentioned this area here is a really rich area of liquidity. It's not enough for me to buy it. I'm more comfortable with waiting to see, should we get there, do we break down, and it gives me something I can trade and go short with. And I'll be selling expensive things to market participants that want to chase and buy it. And it's usually when it breaks out up here, you Johnny come lately, he'll be Johnny on the spot trying to buy something that's probably going to have a deeper retracement in the morning session. I could be wrong. It could go up there and blast off and go another 200-300 handles. Okay? I'm just saying rule-based ideas, you have to have procedure or process, and you have to be able to live with it. You can't just say, well, I'm just going to make it up on the fly. There has to be rules that you follow for engagement, and if you don't have them in advance, not something that you feel impulsively saying, well, I'm going to do this because I just think it's going to do this right now. What's the procedures that you've seen and studied by back testing, and then forward testing, tape reading it, then demoing it for at least 3-6 months? That data, that's what you're going to lean on, not your natural impulses and tendencies to feel like, I got a hunch it might do this. You don't want to trust your gut, okay? Very, very pleased that I'm at a stage in my career where I can look back and see where I would have made terrible, terrible impulsive decisions. And now it's move slow when you're trying to make money. Move fast when you're trying to protect it. And that was a lecture note that I got from listening to Larry Williams. And he mentioned that in 2 of his presentations. One, he was a keynote speaker for short-term trading at a seminar. It was like a one event type thing. And he mentioned it there, which it really resonated with me. I was like, how do I apply that? Like, I have to know how to know when to sit still. When is it time for me to try to take a trade? And when is it not? Because saying the words and believing and agreeing with it is one thing, but having it so you can apply it is altogether something different. And it took years for me to figure that stuff out. And it's going to take you a long time too. It doesn't happen real fast, no matter who tells you what. The patience aspect and being able to filter ideas and trades, not being caught up in the momentum of things, it's hard. It's very, very difficult. Especially if you're actively looking to see what other people have done so far in the day. So they may get very lucky and have captured something. That's wonderful. But what's the steady diet of their trading? Is it that type of reckless gambling? because I'm not impressed by that. You shouldn't aspire to have that for your trading. So now we're back down below that old new week opening gap. Do we tag it, sell off, attack the sell side below here, and get into that first presented theory gap? Then does it one more time press up into that 694 buy side, or does it use the gap we're in here and just simply drive it back up and just do it? Because it's iffy, because it's 50-50. Notice what I just did there. If I can frame it both directions, is a high probability, not by my definitions. And compare and contrast that with, look at the setups I'm showing executions in. There's only one way to paint them. It's obvious it's going around trading. Here, I can paint it on both sides. And it's not something that I would feel comfortable putting money behind. So if it's something I'm not willing to put money behind, there's no sense of worrying about outlining it. You just simply study it, tape read it, watch it, with no weight on the outcome. Because it wouldn't take anything from you, but it's just going to give you more insight and experience. In my mind, this would be like the last ditch attempt if it was going to go up there. If I was a bull, if I was a buyer, it would need to run from here and just be done with it. Simply because we traded outside that new opening gap, came back down into this inefficiency, which is part of the balance price range. Down, up, single candles, handle it, and we're here now. So it would need to start climbing higher here, or it's giving up the ghost and going right back down into first presentation here. And because either side can happen, that's low probability for me. It should be low probability for you, and that's not a time for you to try to trade it. You don't want to FAFO, as they say. Because you'll probably get a result you don't want. It's unfavorable. I'm going to mute this again just for a moment. You would need to find its legs here and run to that 694, or I would kill any interest. If I was a buyer, if I was a bull, I'm not. But look how much time we spent just meandering around. Yeah, there's been small little fluctuations in price. I'm not going to deny that. You can see it here. But is it something I'd be wanting to engage on? No. If you look at the lows of all these candles, I like to look for areas where retail would see a diagonal support or resistance. And that looks like a prime candidate for their supposed diagonal support. So like a trend line, diagonal trend line. I don't use them, but I like to look for opportunities where I could fade them. You find that lesson in the 2017 core content, the mentorship playlist for the YouTube channel. It has that trend line phantoms.
Order filled.
Trend lines that are fake and have capitalized on them with the target, how they're used. They're best used when our tools are suggesting it's going to be an easy run, lower or higher. And then when we see lines that could have been drawn underneath lows that are perfect or real close to perfect, that's what retail's looking for. They want that kind of thing. They're not looking at inefficiencies or liquidity. They're looking for connected dots. Connected dots is not what we do here. Banks and large institutions are not trading on connected dots type theory. There goes the trend line phantom I just mentioned. It's the ghost. So now sell side distance, striking distance, and in the first presentation, here I got. So we're going to get down to the sell side here.
Order filled. Order filled.
It's an election year, and they are absolutely manipulating this market like crazy. I believe after November 6th, we're going to see some wild price action. And since the agenda will be behind that date, and you can regionalize that, what I mean by that, the market will be permitted to do things because we'll be under a different way of living. Just call it that for now. I always thought I was doing on Twitter space. Do ICT, put that 10.1, baby. right, so we're looking at a breaker in here. I'm watching how we behave. This candlestick right here. That's the candlestick I'm looking at and where we're at in relationship to that. When it's like this, and you have so many confliction references, things that could be this, could be that. When it's like that, you have to just simply accept the fact that it's not time for you to trade. It's simple as that. It's very simple. But it's very hard, especially if you're part of an online community, or if you like to force yourself onto social media. You feel compelled, like you have to go out and prove that you saw something today, and you did something today, and you were right. And they're all part of the things we were talking about the other day that are their character flaws, their weaknesses, and you have to keep that stuff out of your trading, because if your results through the lens of other people's perspective about you is the goal, then making money ain't the goal. And if making money is not the goal, then your willingness to lose it on less favorable setups is there, and that's a problem. That means you're willing to do stuff that wouldn't be deemed high probability. But after it works, you'll go online and champion it like you had some esoteric knowledge or something superior. Like the fellows that like to record and say, here's what he said. We walk when he talks. Do it live. Do it live and invite me. Don't mention me in your video. And that's the only thing you got going on. Do it live. I would have commented, but I don't want to bring too much attention to you because you ain't heard that yet. All right, so we made things jagged on the outside after a premium opening. We've had 1, 2, 3 times lower. We're down here. We broke sell side, but it hasn't been convincing enough, and we haven't traded into this yet. So I'm going to see how we behave if we get into that. If it goes through it to the downside, I can see it be treated as an inversion fair value gap and go down to mid opening range gap. Now Caleb would have already came to the conclusion that he can't take any trades today. It's already done too much. It changes to an improbable market condition for him. So he'd have to stay on the sidelines, turn his charts off, and he'd have to go back and look at what has happened after the fact later tonight. So he's not permitted based on what we've seen here. There's no setups he could have taken. First presentation hasn't even been traded to. So how's that losing money? It's not. How is it flawed logic? It's not. It's a criteria that he's being trained to use, and if you so choose to do it as well, it prevents you from being impulsive or chasing price action. It gives you a frame of mind that tells you you cannot or you can trade. If there are things that are going to be back and forth, 50-50, as soon as you arrive at that conclusion, just turn your charts off. You will save yourself so much heartache, so much drawdown, so many blown accounts and or lost challenges or funded accounts. You will lose so much money trying to trade and spend it in commission back and forth trading these opportunities if you force yourself to do so. I know this because I've done it many, many times. I had to restart an account so many times as a 20-year-old. I couldn't find myself out of the bad habit of just trying to impose my will on it. So you have to have procedures that tell you, yes, the framework in the marketplace is conducive for very low resistance liquidity runs. We don't have that here today. We have a big, nice opening gap, higher, wonderful, and it starts right out the gate, straight up, okay, with a failure to get to the liquidity that I was mentioning, and we didn't get there. So it could do it still, or it could leave it there. Which one are you going to go with? Whatever you say, and if it pans out, I'm telling you with 32 years of experience, you just gambled. Now, one can say, well, isn't that what trading is? The majority of everyone else out there, that's how they treat it, but they don't call it gambling. They may disagree with ICT.
Order filled.
That's some funny Instagram. That's some funny. Someone sent me a link. So you got fan. Look, I don't even know who that person is, but it was funny listening to him. You made $500,000 last month. Well done. That's amazing. That's awesome. That is awesome. It's not even
Order
taxes,
submitted.
but it's still good. Nobody should be able to talk down against something like that. That's some good chops.
Order
ICT,
submitted.
trade process. That's some good stuff. All right, so we got 3 more minutes. 10:30 comes. I'm going to close it unless it gives me something really, really earth-shattering. Bobby ICT. I'm going to put that in the list of names now. I have so many names. And how I love the old names. Oh, man. Okay, let's look at it this way. Let's play devil's advocate. Okay? Let's say that we did go down here and hit the stops. To me, that's this little anemic. And it starts to run here. What happens if that's a breakaway gap? And then you have this gap here. We can trade down to institutional or entry deal. And then they run it from there to take the buy side at 694. Or, because I just outlined that, they just run it right on up there and there's no entry. And guess what that means? Sitting still was good. That's the right decision. That's not a regretful decision. It's not but I could have made money chasing it. That's you making compensation for lack of patience and not having the visibility of seeing that these things will repeat. And you don't have to have your setup just right now because you're sitting up on the charts. You have to be permissible. Yeah, I'm sorry. You have to allow the market to give you things that are permissible in delivery. So that means you allow it to do it and have no influence over you by pressing the button. It's hard. I'm going to say it's easy. It wasn't for me. It was not easy for me because I'm a little bit more stubborn. It was a lot harder for me than probably will be for some of you. You might actually get through it a lot easier with structured guidance. So we're inside that area I got there now. I don't know what's going on, but Deer Park used to actually taste pretty good, and this water is tasting like bathwater. So I usually drink Evian, Fiji, and Deer Park. This I just grabbed to come up here, and it tastes gnarly. It doesn't taste good at all. So it's actually making me feel sick in the stomach. So what you would be looking at is how it managed to trade if it get above this high. You're looking at these relative equal highs. Does it go through it and accelerate? And does it accelerate into the high of this candle?
Order
is it outside
canceled.
the opening gap high? So you're going to like measure the ability and strength and speed. If it can trade at those two levels, does it do it quickly? And once it gets there, does it maintain
Order
its bullish body
canceled.
and not create a wick and start to retrace back in? That's not what you want to see. You want to see how it behaves above this high, if it can rally there, and then you want to see it accelerate and break through the new week opening gap high and trade here. If you're long, if you're bullish, if you're looking for it to go up to that 694 buy side. That's up here, by the way, again. This week's lectures are all around contending with things that's going to be problematic for your trades, things that you're going to wrestle with. When should I move a stop? How should I move a stop? If I get stopped out, how do I go back in? Well, you got that. And now, when you have a market that's opened up strong, right now, break from the opening, higher, but it hasn't given you any meaningful retracements where you can frame the risk based on what has been taught to you thus far, then you have to give yourself permission to sit still and be comfortable with that. Being still is a position that wins every single time. You never lose money sitting still. You never, ever, ever lose money sitting still and not entering a trade. Sidelines is always winning. Okay, so we have the run above that high here, and that high. So these two highs have been taken out. Do we have the ability to use continuation to drive above this high? If it can stand above that, we have cleared again the new week opening gap, the new day opening gap, and the new day opening gap right here. Let's use one. It's only 2 ticks. One tick is still a gap. If I were long from that fair value gap down here, as I outlined earlier, and we were playing devil's advocate, I would demand that it literally sends it right now. Using institutional order for entry drill, or your entry on that candle there, you'd be in at 587.75, or maybe 588 even. So 588 even stop would have to be 589 covered cost and commissions. So that way it comes back on you, you're stopped out, and you don't lose anything.
Order submitted.
You're right to see it. Okay. It wasn't a destination or a port of call. You sailed by. That way if you get stopped out, you had a chance to ride around, but it didn't cost you anything. You got your money back. So see what I just did there? That candle here, and we went above that new day opening gap, and then we went back down. So that's not what you want to see. You don't want to see things like that. It doesn't mean you're stopped out yet. It just means that you want to see momentum drive higher. And it's normal for having one candlestick retrace like that, but it means to quickly overcome it and break to a higher bullish candle. In other words, it's got to move outside this candlestick's range to the upside. It can't be spending time, marking time inside that range or going lower. That's not good. And when I used to do the paid mentorships, which I'm never going to do a paid mentorship again, so for people about to comment saying, you're a liar, you said you're never doing a mentorship, and here you are. I never will do another paid mentorship. It's context is king. Okay? You take things out of context and twist my words. So yes, I'm teaching my son, and he wanted to make it available to everybody, so here I am. But when I was doing that paid mentorship, I would do these live streams, and I would talk about the market live over the price charts, and I would outline them and say, look, this is what you're looking for. We're studying price in high resistance liquidity run signatures and low resistance liquidity run signatures. And when it's low resistance, that means it's going to be real easy. The market trades around nice. It's easy. It's one-sided. You don't have conflicted analysis. It's just one-way streets to go to inefficiency.
Order submitted.
And the only way you can identify that is by watching price action in both conditions and me outlining what they are at the time, so that way you can see it. It's like, oh, I understand what he means when it's high resistance. I understand what he means when it's low resistance. And having that framework given to you on a day-by-day basis, which is what mentorship was, it gives the students a baseline perspective on being able to gauge if this is a climate for them to go in and even expect to trade the form. That would be high probability. If you can develop the skill set to identify when the market's really prone to be adversarial on both sides for trades that go long and short. In other words, if it forces you to be absolutely 100% nimble and zero forgiveness for either side being wrong, that's a high probability that you're going to lose money that day. But because most individuals don't have that understanding, and most traders that have a mentor, their mentors don't know how to do that. They don't have a framework criteria that says this is high probability, or this is a climate that is not conducive for low resistance liquidity runs, where the market just trades real fast, just easy stuff, real easy, quick, sudden, immediate feedback that's positive. That's what I teach you if you've been paying attention. I'm teaching you by identifying when it's ugly, when it's harder for you, when it's going to be 50-50 trading, because I want you to feel what it's like to watch and see how hard it is for price to make its way through certain areas, and how it's very difficult for it to trade and gain ground or lose ground.
Order submitted.
It just stays in these ranges like this. Not that you can't trade. Obviously, you can trade it. I mean, right now, if you close the position where I was saying, let's play devil's advocate, and we use this fair value gap, well, you'd be long. If you closed it right now, what shape would you be in? About 50 candles or so. What's wrong with that? Nothing. Problem is, you're listening to me talk about clearing this high and getting up to here. And some
Order
of you will
submitted.
say, it either goes there, or I won't get out at all, and it's going to have to stop me out. So it's a stop out or my target. And people that say that are stupid. They're stupid. Because what you're saying to the audience members that are listening to you, wasting their time listening to you, listening to that logic, is the argument usually made is, well, if you open trade it with X, Y, Z measure or percentage of risk, why would I want to get out with less than what I opened it up with for my target? Here's a novelty for you. Making money. Because partials are 100% profitable all the time. There's never been a partial profit that's ever lost money. Ever. It's never happened. It's in its name. Profit. Okay. So when you close it, you have gained more equity. It may not be the highest degree of profit that you had hoped for and aspired at the time you first trade on. But you have to understand as a trader that you have to be dynamic and evolving continuously while price is moving, gyrating around. Because what might be visible in the charts when you first sit down to enter the trade, and it might make sense to put the trade on, it might have everything going for it technically, and then it fizzles out. It just falls apart. All the technicals just fade away. And you start realizing that maybe I'm not in a trade that is going to pan out for me. Well, as soon as you feel that as a developing trader, first thing you want to do, cut the trade in half. If you have a profit, take it off. Okay, whatever it is. Well, it's only going to be $100 in my commission. Yep. Sure is. But you know what it's going to do? It's going to reduce the anxiety about you feeling what you are observing, what you're arguing about. It doesn't look like it's going to move, man. Should I get out? Should I not? Should I close it? What do I do? As soon as you feel that, when you're learning and you're developing, whatever the trade size is, cut it in half. If it's only one contract because you can't trade with more, just close the trade. And then tape read the rest of it. Because you have to be able to remind yourself continuously that you're in control of your own actions. The broker, ICT, somebody on the internet, the market didn't suck you in without your permission. You push the button. You enter those orders in. You put yourself in the marketplace. And you have to find your way out of it, whether through loan account, through drawdown, or profitable trading. And the goal is profitable trading. And since it's understood that nobody walks out here on their first day knowing exactly what to do without making any mistakes, it's reasonable for you to say, I'm uncomfortable. And why put yourself through unnecessary hardship? You're going to feel the same angst about the trade not working for you if you close it, take half off, or close the entire position if you have this one contract. And then you have the protection of not losing money, not having realized drawdown in your paper trading account, your funded account challenge, or your funded paper trading account, because that's what they are. It's better for you to manage your emotions and psychology around your actions or the decisions you're making. When you feel that pressure inside, trading through that full bore and just saying, I'm going to hold on to it, that has to be graduated to. And the way you get to that point is, in the beginning, you'll be anxious, okay? And then you'll close the position. And you're going to realize, for folks that are highly critical of themselves, when you're tape reading, that means you're not even demoing. When you're not even a demo trade, not even a paper trade on, but you have convictions about why you think the market's going to go up or down from wherever you're watching it. And you'll feel anxious. And you're not even in a trade. And that is the surest indication that you're hyper-critical of yourself. And chances are you probably beat yourself up. You probably have beat yourself up in your journal if you even journal. There's a lot of jokers out there saying, I ain't got time to journal. I'm a man. Every significant, wildly profitable CEO or owner of a business, you know what they do? They keep records in a journal. Yeah, that's what the rich people do. Bart Simpson doesn't keep a journal. We're not trying to be a Simpson, okay? We're trying to be a Samson, a conqueror. We need to find legs here and reach up in that 694 if it was going to go at all. I got 90 seconds. I told you about 10:45. Not earlier in the recording, I said yesterday, I said about 10:45. All right, so now what you'll be watching is how it behaves inside of this inefficiency. You want to see if it can get above this city. You want to see it get above the high, that was that level there, and expand momentum and strength to drive into that high here and attack that 694 buy side. Right now, it's a quadruple high. This high, and I'm not going to scroll away in case it runs up because I want to be on my screen to do so. But you want to screenshot this right here because this is a really good opportunity for you to see if you would use the fair value gap we gave as a devil's advocate exercise. We're saying, let's say you want to be a buyer. Using this fair value gap, should trade down into that, which it did, and then rallied up. Here is the first target for partials. For me, that would be my first partial because it's too close to everything else down here to warrant taking a partial off. Here, it's really close to that high, and it could fail. It doesn't mean it's going to go up here. It can stop right where it's at and go lower. But the way you have to learn how to trade it and engage it is we're in a real rich premium at the high end of that city. This fair value gap with the down close. Cities are always down close fair value gaps. So hitting that and taking a screenshot of that and then annotating how much time it took to get to that candle, touching this candle's low from the low of this candle, which is institutional referential. So when you screenshot that kind of stuff, when you're watching price action or when you're watching call like I'm doing here, compare what I just outlined here using this fair value gap and then saying that would be my first partial. Then look at the trades that I take and how I execute. I'm getting in on down close candles right at the lowest candle, and then it rallies up and I'm getting out at short-term highs. Look what it's doing here. Look at the behavior there. Even if it turns around and rips goes up here, that right there is enough to warrant the logic I'm sharing. It's giving you bookends, okay, a beginning and an end, where something should start and where first partial is. Now, if you rolled your stop to, say, you give yourself a pizza dinner and commissions cost covered, what is that for you? I don't know. Say $100, $200, and just let the trade go. You've paid yourself. You've executed rather handsomely with very, very good precision, getting out of a short-term high that formed at a logical level where there's a premium level. Do you need me to push a button? Because I outlined it for you right here. But some of you want it because you want to copy me. And I'm trying to keep you from needing that right now because I will be pushing a button in front of you. But I want you to understand that it's going to take a great deal of control for you to not want to push the button when I do. I'm going to put limit orders in the marketplace. So you'll see those orders resting there. And price will come to the limit order and it'll fill me. And whatever happens after that is what we'll watch. But I want you to have the maturity to say, you know what? I'm going to just simply study this. And I'm going to exercise discipline over myself. I'm not going to be impulsive. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm not going to fear missing something. Because what I'm learning how to do this on my own. I don't need to copycat Michael. That's how you graduate this mentorship. Okay, the last 2 weeks that we spend, I'm literally going to just be doing entries in management. That's what I'm going to be doing. And once I'm done with them, I don't want to see you tell me, thank you, I made this much money or I passed, because that's literally the surest way that I'm going to block you from ever being able to send me a comment. And you might not care about it, okay? But I don't want you doing anything to copy me. Because I know if I'm doing it here live, you're going to be trying to do it with real money or the chance of you losing something you paid for, like for a funded account company, Challenger or whatever. And I don't want you in my trade because then it's not my trade. It's me managing the outcome for you. And I don't want that. I'm not trading other people's money. OPM is not me. It's not me. My name is ICT, not OPM. Other people's money. You got what OPP? Yeah, you know me. Yeah, you remember that? Still no cuss words. How about that? Told you folks, it's just a character. Just a character. It gets people talking about me and it brings them to the channel. That's what a master of marketing does. No advertising card. Just manipulate the audience. Get them talking. All right, so now we're at the consequent question of that premium wick. See it every single time. It jumped. So we are just hitting it right there. What's the price? Consequent question, 694.5. The high. Oh, we're going to tick about it. So there you go. Now we're definitely above it. So we would demand that it really accelerates and just does it in short fashion because they don't want them to take those orders out of the marketplace. So the framework looks like this. I told you these lectures this week are going to be the dry ones, the boring ones. But I promise you, after doing this for 32 years, I literally would have paid everything that I would be willing to put into a trading account back in the 90s when I was learning how to do all this stuff. I would have paid gladly for this information. with someone sitting out here explaining the logic, proving to you where it's going to go and how to be a master of yourself. And don't try to demand that you know what you have to do right now all the time. And I'm teaching because my audience member is my son, and he doesn't have the ability yet. But he's going to have the natural tendency to want to impress dad. He's going to have the natural tendencies to look at the last time he got it right and think, I want to do it with real money sooner than I should. Or I want to trade more contracts than dad told me to do. Or I want to get in earlier because I don't have the patience to sit there and wait for the setup. All those things that you've been wrestling with, and I wrestled with too, and every other trader does too, I'm trying to spare him that. So that's why I'm teaching this way. Because I want him to be
Order
bored with
filled.
the delivery of price, what we're looking for, how it should behave. All those things should be building blocks for you, Caleb, to wrestle your impulsive nature, to wrestle fear and greed, not fall victim to fear of missing out, and feeling comfortable, just letting price move and finding your model and also being comfortable with what you're expecting to see in price action. And if it's not being delivered to you, sit still. I mean, let's say you went to a 5-star restaurant. Okay, you couldn't wait to get there. You've been waiting all week. You worked all week. You put some money aside. You and your significant other. You're going to this 5-star restaurant, and you get there because you want to have lobster. You want to have stuffed lobster tail and all the fixings on the side that you usually eat with it. And you get there, and the waiter says, "Unfortunately, tonight you're gonna have to do something different. We're out of lobster." Well,
Order filled.
give me the BLT. That's what people do when they're watching the marketplace. They can have a model. They know what they're looking for.
Order
the menu that they want to
canceled.
eat off of is filet mignon and lobster. But when you sit down in front of the charts and they start watching these things dance around on the screen, oh, you know what? Grilled cheese ain't that bad. Big bag jelly? Yeah, roll me over one piece of bread. I mean, I got the heel. I got the last piece of bread. I gotta eat. I gotta eat, man. I gotta do something. I've been sitting here for 2 hours. I gotta do something. Instead of demanding, the waiter, find some lobster or we're gonna go somewhere else. And somebody that has money, we don't look at it as I'm wasting gas, so I'm gonna have to find somewhere else to go. I'm gonna leave. If I went to that restaurant expecting what I want to eat, like for instance, I like Ruth Chris. I like the one on Water Street down in the harbor, and their crab cake is phenomenal. And if you've never had a crab cake done Ruth Chris style, it's the Chesapeake Bay edition of it. It's the only one of all the Ruth Chris locations that has been given permission by Ruth to do that blend. To get that crab cake, you got to come here to Baltimore. And I promise you, if you get it, it will dance on your taste buds. It is absolutely amazing. It's so good. I can't eat a crab cake unless it comes from Ruth Chris. And I'm a Maryland boy. I like crabs to an extent, and it's got to be in a setting. Usually when my daughter visits us, like she just went home, we take her out to get crabs, and we had crabs twice while she was here. And if I don't eat a crab the rest of this year, I'm okay. But if my wife says, I'm in the mood for a nice steak, well, she eats the filet mignon. Ruth makes an amazing steak. It comes out 500 degrees sizzling on a plate. You hear your steak coming. It's sizzling as it's coming to your table. But the crab cake's better. That crab cake is such an amazing, oh, it's so good. It's perfectly seasoned. It's so good. So, Ruth Chris,
Order filled.
This video does not have paid sponsors. It's just me saying who I like and what I like. You're never going to see no affiliate with me. Okay? I don't get paid advertisers in there. I get them all the time offering me stuff. But it's never been something I'm going to reach for, despite how rich some of those offers have been.